Hi guys, this is Lada from astrolada.com, and I'm here again with one of your favorite astrologer, the Babylonian, sidereal, ancient astrologer. He's not ancient, but he teaches ancient astrology. Trifon Nikolov. Hi, Trifon.
Hello, everybody.
We
Hello.
missed you a bit. Trifon was gone for a couple of months because he lives now in the United States. He's relocated. He got his green card. So, Trifon, welcome to the United States.
Thank you. Thank you, all of you.
we people really love you. I hope most of our viewers are from the States, so they're probably going to be very excited. And Trifon is based in Florida now, so hopefully we'll do more programs, more videos, and a lot of that. So can you give us an outlook on what's happening from the new moon that started now in March till the new moon in April?
Yes, of course. The moon coincides with one of the phases of Mercury, namely the setting of Mercury. And this moon, according to the ancient rules, is said that it can give its influence to the entire year, like 12 months ahead. This is the ancient year as it was used in Mesopotamia and Babylon from some of the creators of astrology itself. And so it's a very important one. So the moon was in the constellation of Pisces when it appeared in the middle of the sign. So this varies between the different countries. So namely the exact degree of the moon. But generally speaking, the moon appeared for all the world in the middle of the sign, and there are some important things that happened. So, namely, the setting of Mercury was around that time. So this setting of Mercury also is marking the year as a year that is very much connected with intellectual achievements.
And I remember you mentioned that when oh, sorry.
No, continue, please.
That when a planet hits, it gives results. When it's disappearing.
Yes, the disappearance of a planet is also said to be some kind of end of a cycle. So for this reason, Mercury is setting around the same time when the moon appeared. It's showing that there will be also endings of different negotiations that have important for the world. For example, there can be trade negotiations that can be ended, and generally speaking, there can be some difficulties and secret games, so to say, in trade.
Oh, markets.
Yes, Mercury itself.
Trading, yeah.
Yeah, Mercury itself was in contact with one of the unlucky stars in the skies. A star that is largely considered to be connected with suicide tendencies, and this is the star Shaft. So, because of this, maybe it's more important time for the people who are working some spiritual or psychological type of work to be more careful how they work, and to know that this year can bring more problems about the people that they work with, for example. Especially some of the ones that are more connected in their horoscopes with Mercury somehow, if they know astrology to understand this, of course. So from that point of view, this year can bring more like accidents in transportation, and immediately around that time, one of the big jets, I think Boeing 737 MAX, failed a couple of days only after these positions of the planets.
And that's like a trend for the whole year.
This can be somehow a trend or a question model that has to be worked upon in general. So about transportation and possibility of accidents of some kind, yes, this year can be more difficult than usual.
Mm-hmm.
Also, however, there is also something else. The moon is suspecting and is being aspected by two planets in that moment, and the first aspect that the moon will came in contact with is the square of Saturn. So what to say? Generally speaking, the appearance of the moon in the middle of Pisces is considered to be a good thing. But the aspect of Saturn, of course, is not so easy. This aspect will came to light somewhere after 5-6 months, starting with March, and it will bring, I think, great moral disputes and problems arising throughout the world, probably in first place connected with social inequality and suffering in general. Later on, however, problems there must be marked with this throughout the year. Later, the moon will be aspecting Jupiter, and will receive the aspect of Jupiter, and this is showing that whatever problems there are, they will be resolved with, I can say, good will from the political society in general. So after all, the end is good. The end is good for the year.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we can say.
Is that
So,
can it be applied to personal life in some way, or mostly for the world?
it's in first place, it's mostly for the world. It's like this is the general trend that everything else will obey. However, for people who are more connected with the moon in their charts, then this can be also a major trend for them too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, for the month ahead, there are many interesting things again that are happening. So, also just to comment a little bit upon the disappearance of Mercury that happened in the beginning of the month. We're still in the end of the phase of Mercury, of the setting Mercury. This conjunction of Mercury with the star Shat brings about to the death of famous people, especially in the world of art. Just I'm noticing this.
Luke Perry and the lead singer of Prodigy.
Yes, and not only him, there were several others, like the actor Kate Perry, I think, and others.
Matt Perry, yeah. What was his name? Matthew Perry.
So,
No.
yes, his family name was Perry.
Yes,
And
Perry, yes.
there were others too. However, Mercury is now invisible, and this marks the entire month ahead as a time that is not so strong for Mercury connected people, like writers, journalists, intellectuals in general. They will have some time more important about spirituality. For this, about spirituality, Mercury is definitely is not weak now, because he's in the invisible realm of the sun. He's falling in the rays of the sun. That's why becoming not visible. But at the same time, in ancient times, it was considered that invisible planet is on the council of the gods. In this way, Mercury is receiving now energy from the highest place.
Yes, it's counseling
Light,
with the gods.
light and understanding, but this is happening in secret, inside people's minds, and souls.
That's what I've noticed, that what happens, you start getting ideas. Maybe you do some research behind closed doors. It's all happening here. It's like the sun is infusing new ideas into your mercurial activities.
Yes, but in the material world, Mercury root activities will not go so well, like transportation, like communication, like negotiating, signing contracts, traveling.
And it's retrograde. So take it.
And there is some bad news for the northern countries, like from the position of New York and north, everywhere in the world. And this is that Mercury will remain invisible a long time.
Only for the northern countries?
Yes, only there.
Oh, so the Saturn will see.
By coincidence, I came to a country where Mercury will appear. However,
really earlier, it will appear earlier.
Much earlier, yes, much earlier.
Because you're in Florida.
Yes, in Florida is different. Probably in Mexico too, and throughout, for example, North Africa, Middle East, and so on. But like in Europe, like the northern parts of America, Mercury will remain invisible. So in those countries, there is more like danger of deceit, generally speaking, and
shady deals behind the scenes.
All the problems that I mentioned before about Mercury. And maybe the people in those countries will not know very well, very clear what is going on around, like from the news and so on. Invisible Mercury can be connected with some bad quality news, like fake news or manipulations and so on. However, there are countries where Mercury will become visible, and including this is one of the states in US. This is Florida. I have not checked if it will appear, for example, in the adjacent states. Maybe. So Mercury here will make a very interesting appearance in the end of the month, like on the 31st of March. He will appear in the so-called sacred degree of Aquarius, showing that in such places like Florida, Mercury will bring about a lot of spiritual energy this time.
Are you starting a cult in a sect there in Florida? Getting beautiful women and getting them pregnant?
However, I received some automatic call here unexpectedly. If I wish by electronic voice, that if I wish someone to pray for me.
You can start making such ones to people. You're starting a revolution.
Maybe I need it when I receive the call. I don't
know.
However, so Mercury will appear in the end of March, and so the last 7 days of March and the first 7 days of next month, April, will be greatly influenced by Mercury after all. Even to some degree, probably in the northern countries, but much more like in Florida and Mexico and others in such places.
If someone wants to open a website, business, Mercury, should they go and do it there?
If you start your business somewhere here, right?
It's good. The end of March, the beginning of April, it's good.
Yes, absolutely. So, however, Mercury appearing in such place is showing that important spiritual developments are on the way in the end of March. So even if you not live in southern place, you can use this moment, especially 31st of March, to make some spiritual related activity. definitely, of course, many people will have some experience quite naturally around that time about like understanding, acquiring some more wisdom, and so on. However, this is the most important moment about spiritual things, like 31st of March and later on 2nd and 3rd of April. Later I will tell why.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so let's see what's happening in between this month. Something else that is important is that according to sidereal astrology, uh, in the borders of the zodiac used in ancient Mesopotamia, the head of the dragon and the tail of the dragon just changed signs. So they are changing signs now, and the head of the dragon is now in Gemini, and the south node, the tail of the dragon, is in Sagittarius, and this means simpler that it is in one sign with Saturn.
Mm-hmm.
Now. So this definitely marks the next 2 years ahead like more karmic ones.
Because Saturn is karma, South Node is past lifetimes. It's kind of all connected.
Yes. So Saturn is the ruler of time, and also it can be punisher for past mistakes. And the South Node is generally speaking the energy that is bringing to fruit the reapment of this more difficult karma. However,
this difficult karma will manifest now. People will reap what they saw for past actions, in a sense.
yes, this process is starting to be more powerful now. However, next year is the exact conjunction between much more. They will be closer, and then next year is more like this.
But what do you mean? I think they joined together in April, towards the end of April, the start of July. They get on the same degree. The start of May.
Okay, then if you're right, which I didn't check,
I checked,
then
yeah, for briefly, but they touch on the same.
Then definitely this time is coming.
Ah,
people, all the people who are connected with Saturn somehow like having, for example, those who think they are Aquariuses in Western astrology, most of them are Capricorns. And however, even in the old tradition in Western astrology, Saturn is the old ruler of Aquarius.
Mm-hmm.
So for such people, this can be some purifying time.
That's me.
Let's say it that way.
I've been locked for 3 years, pregnant and babies. Now we're gonna get purified. It's like, come on, give me some good news.
The good news is that this combination between Saturn and the South Node is considered to be highly spiritual one. However, it will act through the means of Saturn, which means through limits, borders, and not with too much thing to enjoy. So it's not, yeah, you can.
I'll
some
quit
people can become
drinking
like monks,
probably, and I'll become vegan. I don't know what else.
Yes, it's good to give something away, give something to Saturn in order to work out this position.
Aquarius and Capricorns, listen.
Something that you don't need, that you really don't need, that is not making you very effective, but you, for example, enjoy too much, but you know that it's not so good for you after all. So it's good to remove this thing for some time with such position.
That's because also through Western astrology, the South Node is the dragon's tail, so it excretes something. And Saturn is old patterns. And I'm thinking that it can be good time to excrete old patterns. So that, yes, true, purification, that's what it is. or you
Yes,
don't see
absolutely
this?
purifying position.
Mm.
Absolutely, both on soul level and material plane. Also, for the world, this conjunction of Saturn and the South Node can mean that some old models and patterns, and also some old kinds of power and rulership, are about to go.
Yeah.
So we will see this. We will see this.
Huh,
So
it's in the sign of uh that's in sidereal in the sign of Sagittarius. That's the
yes,
Western countries, isn't it? Sagittarius rules Western countries.
yes, yes. Generally speaking,
The fire
Sagittarius
sign.
is connected with the West, according to an ancient astrologer called Ptolemy, and mostly with those parts of the West that are connected with Spain and Portugal. However, it will affect the entire West by facing really strong ethical and moral problems on, I can say, on the level of the people of power.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, definitely, definitely. This process will be seen also on the highest places.
You know what I've also noticed that just recently a lot of programs, because I watch Netflix and such kind of TVs, came out about spiritual cults from the past, and they were revealing their dirty laundry, like religious cults, and that has to do with Saturn in the sign of the sidereal sign of Sagittarius, isn't it?
Yes, definitely. This conjunction will be important about every religion. There will be problems connected with religions and their ethics and the behavior of the people that are connected with religion. And of course, there will be this process of purifying again, which is good, but the things that we will see and the means that will be there for this kind of purifying definitely will be harsh.
Yes, so the purification, because Ketu is spiritual, Saturn is difficult, so something difficult will lead to spiritualizing.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So this model will be there definitely from now on. The presence itself of the South Node in Sagittarius also can bring to life spiritual truths from the past to enter the modern life again, once again.
Okay, that's very good news. Maybe like spiritual knowledge, old traditions.
Exactly, exactly. So in many ways, it's a spiritual position. On the other hand, the other side of the dragon is the head, and the head is in Gemini. Now the nodes and the dragon is becoming exalted. The exalted dragon, especially if we have to comment the position in Gemini of the head, is connected in first place with aggravating, with empowering of the desires of the emotions. So many people can become much more intense in their desires, in what they will to do, like to gain more, and in this way, this can be a difficult thing. This can bring some difficult psychological models in motion, definitely.
So people
So
become more ambitious, kind of, when the North
yeah.
Node is exalted.
So once again, it's a time when it's good for everyone to judge his desires always in relation to moral standards and laws for the next 18 months, at least stronger than before.
To kind of try and balance it out with the South Node and Saturn in Sagittarius, moral beliefs and
Yes, this
rules.
can affect more like people who are intellectuals or connected with the written world somehow. Every kind of traders, all companies connected with information, like internet-based companies, and definitely this will affect the world of trade in general.
So they might
So
go a bit crazy, like a bubble. they might start overselling, overdoing stuff, because of
Yes,
greed and ambition. And they might use some not very moral means to get there.
yes, yes.
Okay, so the internet, the
More and
market.
more will become stronger and stronger, and we will see the results. It will
Sorry?
be really crazy thing.
What will become stronger and stronger? The markets?
The markets, yes, the markets, but
They're
to a
growing.
not very healthy degree, I think.
But it will be like exaggerated.
Yes.
Okay, yes, because that's the nature of Rahu, that it overinflates.
Okay. So, what else? To say something again about the next days in this month, we will have on 15th of March Moon opposing Saturn, and this is of course not a good day. So just you have to avoid to start important new things on that day. Right, the opposite is the situation on the next day, 16th of March. Then we have good aspect between the Sun and the Moon is very strong. So it's good about starting like moving in new house or family-related activities. Then something interesting will be happening in the chart of US that I'm using, which is different than the one that most of the astrologers are using. So, however, on 18th of March, Mars will make square with the Moon in the chart of US. So this day can be more difficult in relation to everything related to Mars, like accidents and violence. Even about natural disasters. So this can be. It's not absolutely necessary, but definitely much more probability of this day to be such one. On 19th, the Sun is making conjunction with the unlucky star Shat, that is definitely confirmed to be connected with suicides and other tragedies in general. So this day is not good for starting new things, definitely. It's good for spiritual work and bringing light about psychological problems. Also, on the same day, this is a very problematic day. Venus is making square with Mars in the skies. So difficult day, including about relationships on large scale, mundane level. So don't start new relationship. On 25th, let's mark the conjunction of Mars with the probably most unlucky star in the heavens. And of course, this is happening relatively often in every 2 years and a half, which is the cycle of Mars. And the star is named Algol, translated as the evil spirit from Arabic. In ancient times, for example, in ancient Greece, this star represented the famous Gorgona Medusa monster. Okay, the mythology of Gorgona Medusa is connected with all kinds of violence, including sexual one. So this day is somehow more dangerous. However, some research made by some astrologers in general also revealed that this star can be connected with natural disasters. So on that day, we can have fires and even earthquakes. And of course, danger of violence on general scale for the world. I'm not specifying exactly where this can happen.
Yeah, I know it's connected to mass murder and disasters, like Many, the Chinese call it like 1,000 dead bodies or something like that.
Yeah, so Mars is quite connected with the West in general. However, one of the countries that are connected with this sign, where the star is projecting its image, is like especially Iran. However, this influence can also reach other places. So this moment is not good about investing, about playing every kind of activity related with finances.
It's also wealth. It's a star of wealth. The Trifon teaches
Yes.
a course what each star means, and you can check it out, guys. It's an amazing course because it uses information by recently translated ancient documents from Hermes, and you know, this information is not out there. And he says, and he teaches in that course what it is to have each of those stars in your personal horoscope. If you have it, not everyone would have, you know. And those stars actually can define your career and who you are as a person, and so many things that you can't see just from the normal horoscope. And it's very simple. You don't even need to know astrology. You just check for if these important stars that Trifon's been talking about, if they fall in any place in your horoscope, and he explains they're the most important stars. So check this course out. And Trifon also has another course on compatibility for marriage and love, using ancient methods again, which is the lots of eros, of love, of attraction. And he says that for marriage to happen, you need to have those lots to basically to interact with the chart of one another. These are fascinating courses, very astrology that's very non, you know, what everything is on online. It's information that is very, how do I say, like it's very rare and inaccessible through the normal sources. So anyway, getting back to because these are great courses. I want people to know more about them.
So more about the conjunction of Mars here. Definitely is connected with the financial world, and we can see how someone literally loses his head financially around that time, both in general level and in personal. Also, ancients saw that this star brings a lot of bloodshed in battles, which means that whoever is about to lead a battle, if it lead it on 25th of this month, then there will be more casualties, both in both sides, I can say. Probability is higher. So, of course, this position, however difficult it is, also invites great social response and compassion in relation to the events. So also it has its role in some way in that direction. And then we arrive at the end of the month when, coinciding with the appearing of Mercury in the Saturn places, in the southern countries. So coinciding with this is that Venus will conjunct some of the most powerful spiritual stars in heavens, along and at the same time when Mercury is coinciding with such places again in the heavens. So it's a very, very interesting and important moment about spiritual development and understanding right in the end of this month. And later, on 2nd of April, the moon also will align with Mercury and Venus and those spiritual stars. So 2nd of April is excellent date for starting like healing practice or sessions with therapists of every kind. So this is important moment.
Is that before the new moon?
Yes, it's before, but still it is important. Yeah. Yes. The moon is waning, but it is in the so-called balsamic state, right in this moment. So it's beneficial for this. And then exactly after that, on 3rd and 4th of April is a little bit different because the moon is disappearing, and maybe she will make this again with this star called Sheat. So these days are not so much good, definitely. Also, let's say some things for a little bit later, like 7th of April. Maybe we will not have time to say this in time after the new moon, so let's say it now. Jupiter opposing Mars of US in the chart of US on that day, 7th of April. Jupiter and Mars contacts are sometimes echo to a kind of explosion, both literally, like with arms, and also both in the, of course, the minds of people in general in the country. So there can be moral conflicts, strong moral conflicts arising and having some more importance for the country in that moment. And also there can be some of those moral conflicts, because there will be many kinds, will be with countries that are said to be allies with US, for example. And of course, this brings somehow more about the influence of Mars in the chart. So there can be difficulties related with Mars on that day, and you know what they can be. Also, on generally speaking, diplomatic but also financial level, is the day can be somehow, I can say, too interesting, but the results of it are good, because every aspect of Jupiter brings to some more truth and principles in everything that it touches.
So even the difficult aspects of Jupiter, they are with good intentions.
Definitely. Jupiter is the bringer of good things, and in first place of truth and ethics.
But when it's a hard aspect, it's in some way uncomfortable. This truth or the need to align to.
Yes. Around that day, there can be really important and difficult moral and ethical battles here.
And in the personal life, I don't know, but that's just for the state. Sorry,
This is for the country. This is for the country. So I also noticed that and this is a general comment for something else. So that I noticed that the sun eclipse that was in the beginning of the year is affecting a lot of countries, in fact. And the list is quite interesting. The eclipse was in opposition to the sun of United States. It was in conjunction with the sun of United Kingdom. Affected the moon of Russia. Even the European Union in general, but more like those three countries first. And also a country that is popular now, and that I made the prediction that it will have troubles in the past. This is Venezuela. So, because of the nature of the eclipse, we can expect in those countries there will be strong moral and ethical problems and conflicts. Really strong ones. So this is for the year ahead. Of course, when the sign where the eclipse was posited is activated, it always brings in the end the energy of Jupiter to bring many things to light. So after all, the results will be good. So for now, I think that this is what I have to say.
Thank you so much, Trifon. That was fascinating. Again, I learned so much from you about the Saturn, the nodes and Saturn and all those stars. And I hope you feel welcomed in your new country and settle well. And can't wait to see you again in April with the next new moon. And that was an amazing analysis of the year ahead and March in particular as well. And we'll see you next month.
Okay, I'll be here.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.